All right, so in this video, we're going to cover gradients and backgrounds. So first, let's start out. What is a linear gradient? So it's transitioning between different colors. So you can see, right here, it's starting off black and moving up to a lighter blue, or this is probably like a darker blue, like really dark blue, to much lighter blue. So let's go ahead and try it ourselves first. Let's get rid of all our old stuff. We should have a div in there already. Oops. I'm just running. Okay, open it up in the browser. All right, we can see, it's doing the same thing here, right? But let's go ahead and adjust it. So this is, okay, so it was black and then deep sky blue. So let's try something different. Let's try something weird. We'll adjust between like red and blue. Go ahead and clear our cache. And see now it's going, from red to blue, how it transitions. So you could, play around with it and get it to how you want it to look when you're playing with gradients. So, and then, obviously take into account the color of your text if you're doing some sort of background color, so that it shows up and is visible. And of course, you've got to specify in there, the height and width of the box that you're going to be working with, because if we didn't have that, then it wouldn't know where to, what to what size to put the text and everything. So and as they talked about before, it's doing MOPH in there for the different types of browsers. And yeah, you don't have to just do, one color and have it transition. Like, let's go ahead and throw multiple ones in there. Let's do now it's transitioning between all three. And it kind of, what it does is it just goes from the, like if you do, hold on, like if I was like dragging from here to here and like all the colors in between, you know what I mean? It's how it kind of transitions. Oh yeah, and then it's talking about stop positions for like at what point to stop that. Like you just want it, you know, real small. So let's say we wanted like 80%. So like doing like, I don't know, 80% blue and it doesn't have to be a perfect balance. So like you can do 30% red. And see, it's, you know, mostly blue here. And like there's like hardly any transition because it's adding a lot, and then it's not even balancing out. So like if we just did 80% blue, so yeah, now it's like really, you know, just barely transitioning red. So again, just something to play around with to try and get it how you want it. Yeah, and you can go, like we've been going up and down, but we can go left or right too. So let's do just left. So oops. What did I do? Oh, missed my comma. What did I delete? Okay, so yeah, I got to put WebKit for type of browser I'm using. So just don't forget whatever browser you're trying it in, and when you're deploying this to your actual site, if you're going to use linear gradients and you're going to do like left to right or something, you're going to have to put in all of the, you know, vendor prefixes for what you're using. So like I'm using WebKit, so make sure to add WebKit if you're using, you know, Chrome or Safari, and then for the other ones, you know, go ahead, you know, Firefox and Internet Explorer, all that. So make sure you specify it for each one. But anyway, so if we go to, yeah, test it out, and then you can see it goes from left to right. All right, now let's do some radial gradients, looking all circular and cool like that. So let's just go ahead and copy this. And then do first and second div in the HTML. Save that. So we've got this, cool little circle thing going on. And we can, and again, make sure you've got your prefixes if you're going to be doing a radial gradient. Well, then we can play around with the colors and do like I'm messing with the mods. I need the kit. Start with red. We'll just get rid of yellow. Just really play around with it till it looks how you want. And you can mess with the sizes and stuff to be whatever size you want. I mean, you could even do like width 100%. Take up the whole screen. %. Yeah, if you want to do a your your header or whatnot for your website, and then you can play around with this till you get it right. Keep throwing some colors in here. And blue to, I don't know. It all trippy, cool. So let's get rid of some of this stuff. And yeah, go left to right and from the top. So we want to add in here. It's got this cool little top to bottom little flow thing going on. And then, yeah, you can do color stops so it's more clear, decisive, like where it's changing and whatnot. So I'd say red. So we want a lot of red. So, yep, just something to play around with, get it to look cool and how you want it. This is just talking about different size of that you want your background. So I can go ahead and specify this. But instead of that, let's use our purple heart one. Just throw static in there. We don't need static because it's in the static folder. Yeah. So yeah, you can specify like how big. So it's still in this div, right? That's 250 or 150 by 200, right? But I don't want my background image to take up the whole thing. I just want it 100 by 100, right? And then, it's putting it, no repeat and 50%, 50%. So, and I mean, you can, let's play around with this. Let's make it 150, 150. So like now it's taking up the whole thing, but not, these corners here, right? So yeah. And let's say I did want a repeating background, right? Get rid of my no repeat. And I mean, I can even get rid of where I want the background, right? Like, but since it's repeating, let's make it smaller, right? So like 50 by 50. So now I've got it, repeating, and we're still specifying, we've still got the same size div, right? Our div is still set to this height, but we're having a small background image, and since it's not on no repeat, it repeats, all those times and fills up the thing. And if it and so it's 50 and it's filling in right here, right? But if it wasn't like the right amount, it'll keep going, but it'll only fill up part of the screen. So like it'll only use part of the picture towards the end. So like watch, let's do a weird size. So like anyway, 63. So like, see down here, it's not using the full picture, but it's still going to repeat to take up, it's still doing the same size background, and it's still going to keep repeating to take up the whole area of your div element, right? But your background image is going to, it's going to cut itself off, you know, here when it doesn't run out of room, because it can't, it's not going to, you know, overlap and whatnot. So and yeah, can use contain or cover. So let's go ahead and just do that. Do more auto. There's our contain. There's our cover. So it's making it fill the whole thing with the image, right? It's covering the whole thing versus containing it. It's doing it with one, right? Versus here, it's using like the size, covering, you know, the whole there to there, but it's not, but then it, you know, it's doing the next part and everything too. So yeah, it does, you know, scales to the size of the container versus, you know, cover, which is to fit the entire container and not necessarily like, you know, perfect with the image and whatnot. All right, so next, get to background clip. So you can see with clip, it's, you know, specifying whether you want it to, the background to take up all the way to the padding, you know, area, or just the content area. So let's go ahead and throw that in there. Oops. It should be. There we go. So again, if you want, you know, the so all right, in here, you know, we've got a padding area, right? And so, you know, is it gonna, do you want it to just not go into that padding area, or go into the padding area with your background clip? So and yeah, and you can use images. So let's go ahead and copy in our image. Oops. So we'll use our purple heart image. So yeah, you could use that. And we'll do a content box if we wanted heading box. And our background image is taking up the whole thing. So yeah, let's add some transparent borders. And again, you should be doing all this yourself. Copying all this and playing around with it and tweaking it and adjusting it to however you want, so you can see how it works and fully understand it and think about how you'd want to use some of these in your actual site. So there we go. Now we've got a transparent border. And I mean, we can tweak it up. Let's whatever. And yeah, you don't have to use just one background image. So let me go ahead and bring in a different photo. Let's say 7. So in my static folder. All right, so let's go ahead, copy this. And then use this logo and part JPEG. Let me get rid of that text. Hold on. All right, hold on. JPEG. Hold on. Switch. There we go. So the this one's bigger. So all right, so yeah, you can have multiple photos and like layered on top of each other, like that. So and then yeah, if I want to move it around, I can move it around where I want stuff. So yeah, just where you specify the positions, and if you're doing two photos, go ahead and specify where you want the first one and the second one in relationship to your div element. So and you can make it look kind of see-through. So let's go ahead and do that. And now instead of importing it with your CSS, we're going back to using more just using the image tag, and then remember using your source to import it. And again, you can import if it's in your static file, then just go ahead and use that. So let's do JPEG. Our logo. And the cool thing about Visual Studio, if you're doing it in an actual HTML file, like how I'm doing it in the index, is it does the autofill for you. It's like, all right, I know what you want there. So all right, well, we only did two. Well, you know what? I'll just copy the logo for the third one as well. want the slash static. Is that what it is? Yeah. So, as you can see, like this one's like, well, you know what, let's make them all that logo though. So it's real clear. So, you know, no, transparent, you know, see-throughness, little, and like a lot. So that's real good if like you're wanting to add text or something over here and like you want a background image, but you don't want it to be like totally standing out and everything. To, you know, take everything out. Like imagine trying to put some text right here. You'd be like, what? Can't read that. But yeah, so you can adjust how much opacity, however you say that, you want it to be. So, and I mean, we could even go lower. Let's do. And it's super see-through. You know what I mean? So yeah, and instead of, all right, so let's go ahead and add that. So not really any different. So oh yeah, it's Microsoft only. It's not going to do anything for on mine because I'm not using uh, what's it called, Internet Explorer. So, but anyway, you could use it to, you know, adjust the percentage of your opacity or whatever. Got Internet Explorer, play around with it. And last thing is the quiz. So I don't help out with that. So just do that and we'll move on to transitions and transforms next. Have a good one.